How's it going, everybody? I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me today. So today I just wanted to go over some drills that I'm going to be doing. This week I'm taking a week off from lifting because I have competition coming up. So these are just some things I like to do in order to stay loose and to stay relatively mobile and work on some areas that I feel are problematic. However, this is going to be a full body routine here. So I do have 2 sticks. These are 6-footers, and I also have a pad. This is going to be useful later on. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get into a double hang. So I'm going to take both sticks. I'm going to have them lined up with the front of my knee here. I'm going to hold the sticks up top, and we're just going to simply hang here. I'm going to slowly drop that back knee down, squeezing that left glute. My right foot is forward, and I'm going to pull or push the sticks into the floor, which is going to depress my shoulder blades. Then I'm going to add in little bits of rotation, side to side. Good, nice and easy. Ease off, and let's switch sides here. Drop that right knee down, squeeze that right glute, push sticks into the floor. So we're pushing the sticks into the floor to keep the shoulder blades nice and active. The little bits of rotation, as long as you're not rotating at the hips, will allow you to really work on the T-spine and that mid-back. Nice and easy, and then come off. So this is a really good way to just kind of do a general loosening. We're getting the spine, we're getting the shoulders, we're getting the hips, we're getting a little bit of everything here. So now we're just going to go back and switch to the other side, and we're going to add in that hang. I'm not going to push my shoulder blades into the floor. Instead, I'm just going to actually get a full-on hang here, like a dead hang. I'm just going to hang out here for about roughly 10 to 15 seconds. Making sure you control your breathing. Gonna switch sides. Excellent. Ease off. Now we're going to work on the T-spine. So I'm just going to work from the top down. So the very first thing we're going to do, is probably familiar with this drill. I've done this drill a lot. This is a T-spine drill. However, we're going to add in rotations side to side here. So feet are going to be roughly about hip to shoulder width. Toes are pointed forward. I'm going to have the bottom of the sticks in line with my midfoot here. I'm going to have both hands roughly about shoulder height. I'm going to lightly drive those sticks down about 10 to 20%. Then I'm going to drive the sticks forward and hinge my hips back. So you're going to feel a little bit of a stretch in that mid and upper back, a little bit in the shoulders as well. Breathe. Now what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to pull my head back to clear my head of my shoulders and arms. And then I'm going to rotate both sticks to the right. Now as I'm here, I'm getting a lot of rotation. Come back forward. Switch over to the other side. Breathe. Try to keep your hips facing towards the floor. Back forward. Rotate to the right again. Now from here, I can lightly dip my left shoulder down, which gets a little bit more rotation. Back to center. Rotate to the left. Dip that right shoulder down. Back forward. And come up. And we're going to ease off here. Now, I'm going to place the stick down. It's going to be single stick for now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get into the slap shot. I like the slap shot because it gets the adductors, it gets the T-spine. Again, it gets a little bit of everything. And so I'm going to take the stick, place it behind my back. I'm going to take a relatively wide stance. Obviously, this stance is going to depend on your mobility and what's most comfortable. So sticks behind the mid-back here. I'm going to have my toes slightly angled out here, and you'll see why in a second. I'm going to hinge and drive my hips back. For most people, this might get a pretty good hamstring stretch. For me, this is actually a little bit of a hamstring stretch right now. And from here, I'm going to rotate the left end of the stick towards the floor in front and my center line. If you can only get to here, that's okay. But I want to try to get to center line. I'm going to pull the stick apart, and that's going to facilitate greater rotation on that T-spine and mid-back. Ease off. Pull the stick apart again. Hold for about 5 seconds. Ease off. Good. Again. Pull apart. Only about 30 to 40%. Now I'm going to lunge to my left. I want to have that right leg as straight as I can. Keep pulling apart. Now I'm going to lunge to my right. As you lunge to your right, sink those hips back. You're going to feel that left adductor kick in here. Should begin a little bit of a stretch. Now to the left again. Good. To the right. Back to center. Back to neutral. Now we're going to rotate that right end down. Follow the same steps. Pull apart. Hold for 5, 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Good. Pull apart. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Good. Pull apart again. And good. Now we're going to lunge to the right. So the good thing about this stretch is you get a little bit of that pec stretching as well, and even the bicep of the top hand. Going to lunge to the left. Breathe. Right. Left. Breathe. Right. And left. Good. Back to center. Back to neutral. Let's rotate a little bit further. Now we're going to bring that left end of the stick down. Try to get across the center line if possible. Pull the stick apart. Lunge to the left. Back to center. Lunge to the left again. Good. One more time. Lunge. Good. Now lunge to the right. Get the stretch in the adductor. It's okay if that bottom arm bends. Back to center. Lunge to the right again. Excellent. Back to center. One more time. And wonderful. Back to center. Back to neutral. Rotate the right end down. Pull apart. Now we're going to lunge to the right. Excellent. Back to center. Lunge to the right again. Keep pulling apart on the stick. Back to center. One more time. You can keep your head down towards the floor here. Good. Now we're going to lunge to the left. Back to center. Lunge to the left again. Breathe. Back to center. And lunge to the left again. Excellent. Back to center. Come back up. Wiggle your feet in. Nice and easy. Wonderful. Now we're going to move on to getting into the pec or stretching out the pec. So this is where that pad comes in. This is something for us to kneel on. Now, this drill in particular is quite intense. So don't be afraid to back out of it or altogether skip this drill if it's too painful on the shoulder joint. This is a really, really big stretch on that pec. So this is the snake and reach. So my left leg is forward, right knee is down. What I'm gonna do with this left leg is I'm gonna shift it out so it's more so at a 45-degree angle outwards, so it's easier to get into position here. I'm gonna have the stick right by the mid-thigh, lined up with the mid-thigh of this left leg here. I'm gonna take my right hand, thumb facing down towards the floor, and I'm going to snake this left shoulder through and make sure to get the stick under the shoulder blade on this left side here. I'm gonna walk this right hand up the stick, and again, only go as far as you comfortably can. I'm gonna wrap, thumb around. I'm just gonna hold this position here. So, if you're really, really tight, you can always move this hand back down, and it'll take that stretch off the pec a bit, but this is going to be a really big stretch on that pec minor area, and it's that pec in general. So if we want to facilitate a little bit more of a stretch, what I can do now is I can move the bottom of the stick more towards my center line, and that's going to get an even bigger stretch. We're going to hold here. Deep breath. I'm going to move the bottom of the stick back, walk my hand down, and then slowly ease out of it. Let's go ahead and switch sides here. So the good thing about this, or one of the reasons why I like this drill, and although it's extremely intense, is it really allows us to work on getting that pec minor to really stretch. For a lot of people, that's typically pretty tight. So we're going to follow the same steps. Stick is lined up with the mid-thigh of this front leg. Left hand is up top, thumb facing down towards the floor. I'm going to snake my right shoulder through. Make sure it's under my shoulder blade. I'm going to walk this left hand up. And just hold here. Make sure you're breathing. Deep breaths. You'll notice that I'm taking a lot of deep breaths as I'm in these stretches. It's a great way to work on getting your body comfortable, your neuromuscular system comfortable, but also you won't lock up either, not as much. If you're having a hard time breathing, don't be afraid to come out of that stretch a bit. Now I'm going to bring the bottom of the stick more towards the center line. Get a bigger stretch. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Moves back out. Walk this left hand down a bit. Then slowly come out. Wonderful. Now, first going to move on to working with a little bit more shoulders. And so actually, this one drill is going to be really, really good for emphasizing internal rotation of the shoulder. It's a little bit of a weird drill, but it's actually quite useful. And the main tip for this one is make sure that you're keeping your wrist in neutral, that you're not letting your wrist bend like so. Try to keep it as much in neutral as you can. Otherwise, it seems like you're getting more range than you really are. If I'm in position and I'm here and I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting a lot of range, that's going to make me think that my internal rotation is going to be a lot better than it really is. So just for an example, so the drill that we're going to do, and I'll actually show you what I don't want you to do versus what I do want you to do. The stick is going to be behind the back. lined up with my spine. I'm gonna take my left hand and I'm gonna reach behind my back and I'm gonna grab the stick. Now, I should be able to hold this here like pretty comfortably. It shouldn't be too challenging. Now, this is where things get a little tricky. I'm gonna also move the stick over so it's over this right shoulder a little bit so I can clear it. But if I'm here and then I'm keeping my wrist, let's say I bend my wrist here, this makes it seem like I'm already getting more range. So if I start to pull more, well, I'm getting some internal shoulder rotation, but I'm also getting a lot of that quote unquote range of motion from the wrist. If I were to make the wrist neutral, now the stick comes back to be a little bit tighter. And so as I pull, now I'm getting more of that emphasis on the shoulder, less on the wrist here. So just from this position here, I'm gonna give a little bit of a gentle pull with my right hand. Make sure you're breathing here. And this is just gonna be a stretch here, folks, so we're not gonna add in any activation yet. We're gonna ease off. Now we're gonna come back to it. Now we're gonna add in little bits of activation. So we're gonna pull back into that internal rotation of the shoulder. You might notice you might get a little more, you might not, but it should feel a little looser. What I'm gonna do from this position is I'm going to pull my hand in towards my low back. Hold for a few seconds, and then ease off. Should be able to get a little bit more. Pull in again. Keep it nice and light, 10%, nothing too heavy. Excellent, and then ease off. Get a little bit more of that shoulder extension and internal rotation. Pull in one more time. Excellent, and then ease off. I'm gonna bring this left hand out. Now I'm gonna switch sides. So I'm gonna turn around for this one actually. Right hand, bring it back. Again, it should be relatively comfortable. If one side's tighter than the other, that's okay. I'm gonna bring this off to the left a little. Keep the wrist neutral. Hold here. And I'm just gonna hold this stretch. I'm going to bring it back in, ease off. Now we're going to repeat that same thing we do on the other side, right? I'm going to pull with this left hand, hold for a second. Now I'm going to pull my right hand in towards my lower back. Hold for a few, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to ease off that pull. And I should be able to get a little bit more range. Hold, and then pull back in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Should be able to get a tiny bit more range. And pull again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. And ease off. Nice and easy. Good. Now we're going to work on a little bit of hip drills. So these hip drills are mainly to work on, again, just moving the hips, getting them to properly activate and getting some of that rotation in. So these drills are going to be super simple. I'm going to start with my feet together. Toes are going to be pointed forward. I'm going to have the bottom of the sticks angled towards my toes. The sticks are not that far apart, all right? Now, if you're super mobile, you can have the sticks out wider, but if you are not super mobile, have them closer, it's a good way to start. I'm gonna wiggle over to my left a little bit so my right foot is in line, in center line with the sticks here. I'm gonna hold my hands out. Hands are roughly about shoulder height. I'm gonna drive both sticks down about roughly 50%. I'm gonna bring my right knee up. I'm only gonna bring it up to roughly about hip height. And then from here, I'm gonna externally rotate, push against the left stick, keep my knee in the middle, and then I'm gonna come back to center, and I'm gonna internally rotate, push against the right stick, hold, good. We're gonna go back and forth. Push, good. Push, good. We're pushing with about 30 to 40% tension here. Push, good. Push, good. Let's go 2 more. Push, good. Push. Excellent. 1 more each way. Push. And push. Back to center. And down. So now we're going to switch over to the other side. Same thing. Just drop both sticks down. Up. Keep it in the middle. Push. Good. Other way. Internal rotation. Good. Push. And push. Make sure you're breathing. Good. Push. 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 1 more time. Push. And push. Wonderful. Back to center. And ease off. So we got the rotational aspects of the hips. Now let's work on adduction and abduction here. So I like to have this drill not only to work on those 2 motions here, but it's a really good way to kind of check in to see what's activating and what's not. And so I'm going to have feet together here. I'm going to start with my left leg. So I'm going to have my right stick. It's going to be on the right in line with the pinky toe of my right foot. Left stick is going to be in line with my midfoot out to the left here. So at a 9 o'clock position. So hands going to be roughly about shoulder height. Sticks are angled in towards me. I'm going to drop both sticks into the floor, 50%. Keeping my right leg straight. I'm going to bring my left foot forward. And then I'm going to bring my instep to that right stick and push for about 3 seconds. Then I'm going to shift that left foot out to the left stick and push for 3 seconds here. Good. Back forward. Keep pushing those sticks down. Out to the left. Push. Good. Forward. Push. Good. Out to the side. Push. Should be feeling that left glute, lateral glute fire here. Left stick. Push. We should be feeling that adductor, the adductor line kicking on. Out to the side. Push. Let's go 1 more each way. Push in. And back out. Push. Wonderful, and ease off. Now we're going to switch sides. Left stick's in line with that pinky toe on the left. Right stick comes out to 3 o'clock. So drop both sticks down. Right foot forward, bring it across, push. Good, bring it to the right, push. Excellent. Left. Right. Left. Right. Left. Good. Make sure the adductor's firing. Right. Good. 1 more time each way. Right. Wonderful. All right, just wanted to go through some drills today. Try to keep it short and relatively simple, but just wanted to go over some things that I feel are pretty important, especially for general mobility. But hope this was helpful. I'll be sure to catch you on the next one. Have a good one.